Hi, I'm Lauren Grace, host of the Afterlight Podcast, mindset and manifestation coach and medium. With over 20 years in self-development, I specialize in empowering people like you to unlock your inner power and live the life you want. Drawing from my background in radio, online platforms, events, and business management, I offer comprehensive training in mindset, business strategies, and personal growth. My goal is simple: to help you realize your full potential and thrive in both business and life. My holistic approach to coaching and teaching sets me apart as I incorporate practical strategies, actionable steps, and spiritual insights in all I do. As a medium, I can connect with higher guidance and deliver messages that resonate deeply with your soul, guiding you towards clarity, healing, and empowerment. I'm dedicated to creating a supportive environment where you can explore your aspirations, overcome challenges, and step into your highest potential. Together, we'll embark on a transformative journey of self-discovery, growth, and lasting change. The journey ahead is yours to shape. Join me today and begin your journey towards a more empowered and fulfilled life. Find out more at laurengraceinspirations.com. Hi, Lauren Grace here, and welcome. I am a mindset and manifestation coach, and I'm live right now on Facebook, on YouTube, and over on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for joining me today. Today, I wanted to talk about a couple of very important concepts, including a recent aha moment that I've had. Okay, so I want to talk about the concept of using our triggers to heal. And I also want to talk about our innate power that we have as a sovereign being to be able to shift and remove old habits, old ideas. So before we get to the subjects at hand, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pull a card for today. This is your spirit message, and this is from the Elemental Oracle. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these. Got to do a really good job. We'll see if a card flips out. That's usually the card. Although I did have recently where a card flipped out and I just knew that wasn't the right one and I put it right back in the deck. So, okay, shuffle one more time. It's the thing about using cards and shuffling is that sometimes you just feel like, oh no, I've got to go again. And it's about listening to that intuition and tuning into that and knowing. So, you know, when you're going to do something and something doesn't really feel right, that's always an indication for you to take a moment. Maybe you want to pivot, get more information, just even take a breath for a second before you move forward. Okay, so today's card is the outer core card, and this is the card called Fluidity on it, and it's card number 12. And we can see that there's a woman here and she's coming out of the water and she's naked. So whenever we see nakedness, we see vulnerability essentially. Now with the element of water, water is all about intuition. It's also about emotions. And we see here outer core and then the word fluidity on there as well. We also see number 12. Number 12, 1 + 2 is a 3. 3 is could be about pregnancy. It's about new ideas. It's about creativity, joy. Whenever we see threes, you know, in sequence as well, like 333, for example, or 33333, that's a very big indication that the ascended masters are wanting to connect with us as well. In this particular case, though, outer core and fluidity, this is really talking a lot about looking at how we may be a little bit fixated with the goings on of our appearance or the things around us. And it's really a lot about being a little bit more vulnerable and diving a little bit deeper, looking under the hood, so to speak. You know how we have that whole idea about the onions and there's multi-layers to the onions? Well, it's about looking at the different layers. And then it's also about being fluid and being flexible with what it is that you see. I think sometimes what we do is we tend to judge ourselves quite harshly. We tend to look at ourselves and think that we have to have a certain level of perfection when really we're fine just the way we are. There's actually nothing wrong with us. And there's a lot of pressure on us from ourselves, from society, from the people that we love to, you know, sometimes be a certain way. And it's really about us being able to go, you know what? I am okay the way that I am, and the way that I am is perfect. And so, one of the things that this card is reminding us is not to get so raptured and so caught up in the outer core and the messages outside of us. It's a lot about going within, being vulnerable, getting clear with our emotions, and really going into the depth of our intuition and our inner knowing. So, whenever we see the water element, that's a lot about the feminine side of things and really doing a little bit of exploration about maybe what's deep down under there. Are there some things that want to be revealed? And that's actually the perfect segue into what I wanted to talk about today, which is using our triggers to heal. So I had on the show, on the Afterlight podcast recently, a fantastic guest, Mark Anthony, and we were talking a lot about the concept of theta healing, which is he's a theta healing expert and a teacher. And we were talking about triggers and using triggers on our journey to heal. And what a trigger is essentially when something comes up and it feels uncomfortable. So maybe someone broaches a subject, or a song shows up from, your past, or a smell even, or someone says something that triggers something with you. And there's a reaction that's a bit uncomfortable. It's almost like a gritty nails on the chalkboard kind of thing. It could show up as anxiety. It could also show up as fear. You could start to notice that your breathing is different. So when we have these triggers, what those triggers are allowing us to do is to look at an opportunity for us to heal something right then in the moment. And one of the things that I just love about understanding that, it's not always easy to do, I'll say, is that when we can see that there's an opportunity for something to heal, we can actually choose to take that opportunity right then and there. And it's as simple as coming back to your breath for a moment and just breathing it in and breathing it out. So I want you to think back to a time when maybe there's been a trigger, someone said something, someone irritated you, someone was pissing you off, whatever the case may be. And I want you to think about, well, what was it about that was triggering you? Was there something in you? What was the emotion that you were feeling? Were you feeling maybe anxiety? Were you feeling fear? Were you feeling anger? What was that emotion that was coming up with you? And what did you do with it? Because very often, a lot of the times what we do is we suppress our emotions. Is we go, you know what? I don't want to feel this. I'm going to shove it down real deep down in there, right? And instead of taking that moment to really just breathe through it and just be where we are. And so one of the things that I'm looking at doing, and I've been really consciously doing this over the last few days primarily, but, kind of made a concerted effort over the last week to go, okay, so next time I notice that there's something that's bothering me, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to breathe, and I'm just going to let it pass through my heart space. And our heart space is actually the secret of everything, by the way. When we can connect with our heart, when we can be where we are, spirit here, by the way, heard like a ringing in the right ear. When we can be where we are, we can tap into our unconditional love. We can actually filter fear and anxiety through that space. So if you kind of imagine almost like a filtration system, and your heart is like the thing that's going to clean everything. When we can breathe in these fears or these worries or these challenges that we're having at the time, our heart is going to help us transmute that energy into something different. But it's about us being aware that it's happening. So the action is this. Notice when you're getting triggered. Don't tell yourself the story if you can help it, right? We don't want to get so caught up in like, well, why is my ego bringing this up? Or do I need to be afraid of something or worried, right? Because very often when it's actually old stories that are showing up that are alerting us of something that's not even happening right now. It's like an old story. And I want you to go, okay, what would be the worst thing I would do if I just come back to my breath for a second? And just come back to your breath and just breathe in and then out. And in and out. And yeah, I can say that sometimes it's going to be uncomfortable and you're not going to like it. But when we can learn to breathe in and out our emotions, what we actually allow ourselves to do is to transmute that old trigger into a new way of being, into freedom. And I recently I had a soul realignment session with my friend Candice Planch from Larimer Light Healing. And I'm not somebody who usually goes out of my way to get healings from other people because I'm very self-sufficient and I really like to do my own journey and my own work on self. But this was such an incredible experience. And On a side note, I've just launched a program called Soul Accelerator, which is a 6-month coaching program with me. And I've actually included in the offer a session with Candace if you want it, because I just thought it was that profound and it really complements all the training and all the teachings that I'm going to be giving you in Soul Accelerator. But anyway, one of the things that we do in the soul realignment session or after that is we actually do a prayer. And then we do an affirmation 200 times a day for 21 days. And one of the other things that you are encouraged to do is you're encouraged to look for habits and challenges and situations that are coming up that are old and that you're ready to release. So, for example, I'm somebody, and I've talked about it on the show quite a few times now, that has anxiety, right? And I will say that I have had barely any anxiety in quite a few months because I've been doing a lot of things to really be proactive with breathing it in and letting it go and not connecting with the story and allowing it to really shift into something different. But one of the things that I've recently been doing, which I find very helpful, is I've been telling myself when I notice that anxiety is coming up, and sometimes for me, anxiety comes up out of nowhere. It's as though I'm peaceful and I'm enjoying my life and everything is great. And then all of a sudden my mind goes, wait a minute, there must be something to worry about here. There must be a danger on the horizon, like I could be sitting in the most peaceful space in the world. And my mind is like, there must be danger somewhere, right? And then brings in that anxiety. And so what I've been doing is I've been saying to myself, no, I'm no longer running the program of anxiety. And I choose to let that habit go. And what I've been doing with that is I just say it a few times. Number one, you become the observer the moment you realize that. And it's been shifting for me because I have made a decision that I am no longer going to allow anxiety to rule me or to, mess up what could be a very great day, for example. And so what's really cool about this strategy is we can actually swap out the word anxiety for a different word. So for example, weakness or being a victim or being scared or being fearful, right? We can swap out the word anxiety for whatever it is that's going on in our life, angry, and we can just go, you know what? I am not going to allow that anymore in my life. I don't want it. And that's what's really powerful about who we are as sovereign beings and as powerful creators is we can decide right now, I no longer want that to be my truth. I no longer want that to be my story. And when we can get really clear with that, that's when shifts start happening because we're ready for it. If you've ever gone to a healer, healers will often tell you that they'll do whatever it is that they can do to help you to heal, whatever it is that needs healing, but you have to be ready. And sometimes we're not ready. I was talking to someone the other day and they just weren't ready to make certain changes in their life. And then all of a sudden they just felt it was the right time. And then boom, major change, right? All for the better because they were ready. So when these situations come up and you are ready, and if you're not ready, just be compassionate with yourself and understand that that's okay too. But when you're ready, I really want to encourage you to think about bringing this into your life, which is I am no longer running the pattern of insert, so anxiety, fear, anger, and I choose to let that habit go. And when you do that, you start to recognize your badass power as a creator and how you are this incredible manifester and how you can shift and change things because you want to and you desire to. And so I just wanted to share that with you today because I feel really strongly about that message. And I feel that personally for me, I've been seeing so much benefit of lots of things that I've been doing lately, but that's a really big one for me. And I wanted to make sure you knew about it today. So thank you for being here. I'm going to pull one more card just because we can. We're hanging out. Why not? I'm going to change decks. I'm going to go with the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. It's the dark moon today. And really feel like, it's time to let things go that no longer serve us, such as anxiety, such as fear, such as old conditioned habits. So let's pull a card here to wrap things up today. And actually, I might answer a couple of questions. So I'm not doing readings right now for people, but if you have any questions around business, mindset, manifestation, spirituality, spiritual practices, clearing, cleansing your energy, anything like that, if you want to know about my new program I'm launching, Soul Accelerator, let's chat. I do have a couple questions here. So Okay, what are some easy ways to add mindfulness and meditation into my day? Just schedule it in, make a concerted effort. I've been reading a lot of Neville, listening to a lot of Neville's work, and he's like talking all about the power of the imagination and the power of the imagination to create the life that we want. And so I've been taking time every day to do a little meditation about what I want to bring about in my life, and also at night. And I find that that's really powerful. And it's just like you have to just decide you want to do it, but scheduling it is always going to be helpful. So for me, before I get into my desk and like, or not into the desk, but like before I get at my desk, I've been taking some time to do my meditation. Also, when I'm out and about, like today, I went outside for a moment and I just soaked in some sun for a second, and I was just being present and being there. A lot of this is like learning to watch our thoughts, learning to come back to our breath, learning to invite in moments of peace and presence consciously. And then the more that we do that, the more that it'll start to happen for us naturally. Also, it's about finding the type of meditation that you're interested in. And I've just released on my website, actually, a little while ago, a little mini course that I've created, which is about different intuitive tools for beginner psychics. And I put that on there. It's $11. You get 7 little videos. And yeah, it's cute. So it's cute. Anyway, there are different types of meditation techniques that I go over in there, like different types of meditation, because not one meditation is necessarily going to suit everyone, but there are different ones. So it's about finding what's really going to work for you. Okay. Let's go with this card now. I've just pulled a card and it's called Resilience. And this is card number 21. And 2 + 1 is the 3. There's our 3 again, right? So we've got 3 and 3, which is, always about like ascended masters, higher knowing, higher teachings. So what we see here is we see this woman and she is carrying a very heavy load. And the heavy load is full of material, earth materials. So like soil, and it looks like there's lots of plants. And there may be even like an animal, like a snake type figure kind of mixed into there. But what we can see here is that because it's an earth matter, this is probably a lot to do with material aspects. So it could be a lot about finances, could be a lot about resources, could be a lot about business, that sort of thing. So whenever we see the earth element, it's a lot about resources. It's a lot about material things. It's all about earth-based stuff, okay? And so this is a lot about resilience, and it's about noticing our ability to be able to rise above trials and tribulations, to be able to rise above challenges that may be happening. So for you, this is a lot about you kind of looking at your situation with an objective point of view. We're just at the end now of financial years. So it's about getting your things in order, getting your affairs in order so you can move forward with success. I'm reading a really interesting book, rereading it, and it's a lot about it's all about manifestation. But one of the things that they talk about is the idea of debt, and how sometimes when people have debt, for example, they focus so much on the debt as opposed to organizing a payment plan for the debt, and then focusing on all the things that they're grateful for, all the abundance that they currently have, and even just attracting in that monthly payment as opposed to that debt. So we always want to be really aware that we put out a certain energy and we attract that energy back. This is about reminding you how resilient and powerful you are, right? So even if we go into what we were talking about earlier, which is the whole idea of I'm no longer running the program of lack, and I choose to let that habit go. I am no longer running the program of fear of poverty, and I'm choosing to let that habit go. Whatever it is for you, it's about remembering how resilient you are and how powerful you are to be able to just shift and change. So that's what this card is about. And because of the 21, the 3, 2 + 1 is 3, 3 brings in that new ideas, new creativity. So can you look at things from a new perspective? Can you look at things with a little bit more joy and ease instead of the seriousness, which sometimes happens? The other thing too that I must say, thank you. My guys are like, girl, just say it again. I'm like, okay. So this woman is holding this burden, right? But one of the things that they're reminding us is that we can actually hand over our burden to source energy, to the divine, to the creator, to help us. And we could say, I'm going to hand over this burden of lack. I'm going to hand over this burden of fear. I'm going to hand over this burden of whatever it is that you're dealing with to the universe. And I surrender and I let go. Because this woman is choosing to carry this heavy load, but she doesn't have to. She can actually choose to put it down for a minute, stretch her back, take a breath, maybe go through all the goodies she's got in her little bag here, in her little bundle, And she could actually just say, okay, I'm going to look for a ride now to carry this heavy load. I'm not going to do it all by myself. And that's the thing about spirit. That's what spirit's here to do, to assist us along our journey. So I've got another question here. What signs should I look for to know if I'm on the spiritual path? Oh, that's a good question. I love that question. So, number one, in Soul Accelerator, I'm going to teach you about how to connect with your spirit guides and your angels and looking at signs and symbols. But aside from that beautiful shameless plug I'm fitting in there, one of the things that I always like to do is I always like to let my guides know and my spirit team know what signs work for me. So I have certain signs like a bluebird, for example, or rainbow, that let them know that, I let them know that those are the things for me that give me an indication of truth or go or, support. And so for you, it's about having a little bit of a look in your life as to what a sign or a symbol may look like for you, and then putting that out there to your team. So for example, is it going to be a horseshoe? Is it going to be a butterfly, but a yellow butterfly? Is it going to be a star? Is it going to be a cross? Is it going to be an owl? Is it going to be a sequence of numbers, maybe 444 or something like that? Because when we see those power numbers, those are really powerful times for us to connect. And so it's about getting clear on what those signs and symbols look like, practicing mindfulness, practicing being in the here and now moment so that we can notice them when they go by. Because sometimes there's buses going by with giant owls and we've asked for an owl sign and we're in La La Land or on our phone and we miss it. So it's about being here in the now moment so that we're not missing those opportunities. And then it's about following our feelings of feeling good, following our feelings of joy, following our feelings of excitement. And the more that we can learn to do that, the more that we're going to start getting our signs that are going to alert us and let us know we're on the right path, the more we're going to start to pay attention to the signs and synchronicities and coincidences that are alerting us that we're on the right path. And the more these things are going to happen over and over and over again, because that's the frequency that we're putting out. That's the intention that we're putting out. So that's what I had for you today. Thank you very much for joining me again. I'm really working right now at doing live every day for a while. So we'll see how we go. I really enjoy it. I really love talking to you. I love the feedback that I'm getting. I love the questions that are coming through. And I really appreciate that. So thank you so much. And again, I've just launched Soul Accelerator. It's a 6-month coaching program with me. So if you want to actually work with me and a small group of other like-minded women who are soul-led, who are here to connect with our heart and lift each other up and support each other, I would love to talk to you about that opportunity. All the details can be found here in the comments, but they can also be found on my website. Thank you so much for being here. You're beautiful. Remember, there's nothing wrong with you. You are enough just as you are. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye.
Hi, I'm Lauren Grace, host of the Afterlight Podcast, mindset and manifestation coach and medium. With over 20 years in self-development, I specialize in empowering people like you to unlock your inner power and live the life you want. Drawing from my background in radio, online platforms, events, and business management, I offer comprehensive training in mindset, business strategies, and personal growth. My goal is simple: to help you realize your full potential and thrive in both business and life. My holistic approach to coaching and teaching sets me apart as I incorporate practical strategies, actionable steps, and spiritual insights in all I do. As a medium, I can connect with higher guidance and deliver messages that resonate deeply with your soul, guiding you towards clarity, healing, and empowerment. I'm dedicated to creating a supportive environment where you can explore your aspirations, overcome challenges, and step into your highest potential. Together, we'll embark on a transformative journey of self-discovery, growth, and lasting change. The journey ahead is yours to shape. Join me today and begin your journey towards a more empowered and fulfilled life. Find out more at laurengraceinspirations.com.